27-11, beating the Jaguars in Canton, Ohio. Looking forward to this upcoming week or next week, because that's when, every team in the NFL will kick off their preseason. So looking forward to that. But let's get into our second topic. It's a topic that, me and Shardol are very, very excited for. And, let's turn it over. Let's turn it over to my guy from the NFL Network, Michael Irvin, for this to introduce our next topic. Go ahead, Michael Irvin.
Deebo, whoa, Deebo, whoa.
Deebo, whoa, Deebo, whoa. That is right, baby. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Deebo Samuel got paid by the San Francisco 49ers, folks. Deebo Samuel got his bag. The 49ers on last Sunday inked Deebo Samuel to a massive 3-year, $71.3 million extension with $58 million of guaranteed money, which is the highest that the 49ers have given a player in guaranteed money in the Jed York era. And folks, as my guy Shardol Gupta, as he, is dealing with some technical difficulties, and as we wait for him to get back on the show, I'll give you my thoughts on this. My thoughts was exactly what Michael Irvin said. Deebo, whoa, Deebo, whoa. Woo! How about it, man? How about it? Deebo Samuel, who is a guy that, is a very, very unique player. He's a guy that can play the wide receiver position extremely well. He is a guy that can play the running back position extremely well. You could give him like 10 to 12 carries, and he could absolutely dominate on the football field. You can give him, 9 to 10 targets. He'll dominate on the football field that way. He's truly a Swiss Army knife. And, I am really glad, as we add Shardol back onto this program, I'm really glad that the 49ers paid him. Heck, I think, he got a pay cut. I think he took a pay cut, because if you look at what Deebo Samuel was wanting from the 49ers, when he was holding out, when he was requesting to be traded, he wanted 25 to 30 million. And I said flat out on multiple times on the IM6 network that hell no. There is no way whatsoever I'm giving Deebo Samuel or any wide receiver 25 to 30 million. Because if you pay a wide receiver 25 to 30 million, you will not win a Super Bowl in the NFL. And I stand by that. You pay a wide receiver 25 to 30 million, you will not win a Super Bowl in the NFL. I can guarantee you that right now, because you have to pay him. The quarterback's making an exponential amount of money already. You got to protect him. You got to pay the defense. You just don't have money, especially with the salary cap around. So, and plus wide receivers are one of the easily replaceable positions in the NFL. Every year we see about like 4 or 5 great wide receivers come out of the NFL draft. And you look at last year's draft with Christian Watson, with all those guys that were coming out. Last year was a loaded, deep draft in terms of wide receivers. You could have easily flipped Deebo Samuel to the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins or one of the other teams that was suitors for Deebo Samuel. You could have easily flipped him, got about like 3-4 picks back, got that salary off the books, get draft picks back, get salary cap space, build around Trey Lance. Like, you could have done that. But I'm kind of glad that the Niners did end up paying him, and I'm glad that they didn't pay him the 25 to 30 million. They only paid him the 24 million in terms of average annual salary. I'm glad that they paid him that because yes, 24 million is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It is a lot of dough, but it is still better than 25 million. You know, it is still better because, you know, Deebo, 3-year contract. He is, I believe he's only like 25, 26 years of age right now. He's a very, very young football player. He's a dynamic football player, and he's 26 years of age. He's young, 3-year contract. He'll still be in your prime. He'll still be in his prime. You won't be paying him for when he gets out of his prime. Like, you could pay him until he's 29. You know, then we'll see what happens, because when he's like 29, entering his 30th year, or his age 30 year, that's when it gets really, really tricky, because wide receivers, they don't really age well. You know, you don't really see a lot of, especially players like Deebo Samuel, who rely on his speed and his athleticism. You don't really see a lot of those wide receivers lasting into their 30s or their mid 30s, or even to their late 30s. So I'm glad that, you know, they didn't pay Deebo the 25 million. I'm glad that they only paid Deebo Samuel 24 million. Now Trey Lance has a major weapon at his disposal. You pair him up with you pair Deebo with Brandon Ayuk, who's looking phenomenal in training camp, with George Kittle, with the running backs that they have. This Niners offense, if Trey Lance can live up to expectations, I believe the San Francisco 49ers potentially could have the best offense in the NFL. And with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, that offensive guru, the offensive maestro that he is, I would not be shocked if this is a Niners offense that is churning out 30, 35 points every single night. And with that defense, oh my gosh, man, this could be a Super Bowl team this season. But only if Trey Lance is able to live up to those expectations placed on top of him. But we go back to my guy, Shardol. Shardol, what was your reaction to the 49ers giving Deebo Samuel a massive 3-year, $71.3 million extension with $58 million in guaranteed money to end Deebo Samuel's holdout from the 49ers?
I think I think this was kind of stunned many 49er fans when they heard that he was signed to he got a 3-year $71.3 million extension with $58 million in guaranteed money. I think this was kind of like many fans were not expecting that this would happen, that he would get signed to the 49ers with all this money. So I mean, I think he's gonna lead this team next this season, because I think he's that arsenal that the 49ers need.
Yeah, I truly agree with you. He's definitely the guy that the 49ers will rely heavily upon. Trey Lance will rely heavily upon. And, you know, I'm good with the money they gave him. I'm good with the money that they gave him, because it's not past the $25 million threshold. Once you get 25 or higher, then it's, you know, really, really hectic. It's really, really tricky. It's really, really chaotic. And, you know, it's at a point where it just doesn't age well. And if you're a team, once again, I'm going to make that loud and clear. You pay a wide receiver 25 to 30 million or more, you won't win a Super Bowl in the NFL. I can guarantee